Arnab Goswami on the debate at 9. Presented by Amity University. Powered by Softovac.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. By punning on the word surrender, the 51-year-old adolescent has accused the Indian Army and the people of India of surrendering. And that is sacrilege. We have never surrendered. And only an utterly ignorant man would play with the word surrender when the facts are completely to the contrary. The general level talks today prove that far from surrender, we successfully pushed the Chinese back, with the Chinese army admitting today that their colonel was killed by the Indian army. And more evidence now emerging from China that 43 Chinese soldiers were killed, maybe more. And anger growing in China that, unlike in India, which honored the men who were killed in action, which draped its men in the tricolor on their last journey, the Chinese Communist Party sent coffins home and denied any honor to their 43 soldiers killed by the Indian army. There is anger in China, viewers. It's all over. When this evidence emerges, when we mobilize even stronger, and when the Prime Minister of India strategizes, and when surface-to-air missiles are heavily deployed by us against the Chinese, a man-child with nothing to do plays with the word surrender. Viewers, this country never surrenders. The Chinese, bloodied and hurt, know that more can come from India this time. My only request, my dear viewers, stay steadfast, believe in your country, back your army, and this is now our time to hit back the Chinese even harder, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 big debates this evening. We never surrender. The man-child should learn when he should shut up. Debate number 2 this evening. There is a growing need for an investigation into Sonia Gandhi's secret deal with Xi Jinping. And she's not talking about it. She's completely hiding something there. And debate number 3 this evening, the military debate. Fact check for the lobby at 10:30 p.m. tonight. It's a packed show. And here are the headlines this Monday evening on the debate tonight. India stands its ground in the ongoing Corps Commander meeting, demands status quo ante should be maintained. Quick response surface-to-air missiles are heavily deployed in Ladakh to counter Chinese airspace violations. Undated video from the eastern sector show how our forces give it back to the Chinese with full force. And 20 army men martyred pushing back Chinese brutes, but the Vadra Congress continues to peddle the surrender narrative to keep Beijing happy. And look who's talking. The pusillanimous ex-Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, lectures Modi on diplomacy and national security. And great pressure builds on the Congress party to make details of the secret deal between Sonia and Xi Jinping public. Mahesh Chetmalani is joining the debate at 10 p.m. tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, for close to 10 hours and counting, India's top military commander, Lieutenant General Harinder Singh, has been leading hard negotiations with the People's Liberation Army, reiterating firmly that we will not budge an inch from our position. So when the 51-year-old man-child uses the word surrender almost childishly in every juvenile tweet of his, and the pusillanimous Manmohan Singh lectures us on disinformation, they should know that 7 days back, 20 Indian Army soldiers were martyred in action because their steely resolve and uncompromising patriotism did not allow a surrender. And no amount of banal politics can change the facts on the ground. Let's debate.
This 2-month-old video from the eastern sector doing the rounds on social media is proof of the bravery of our troops on ground. Watch how they are countering Chinese aggression with full force. Looking at this, one can imagine how our men fought back in Galwan. Soldiers led by Colonel Santosh Babu martyred in action. They fought till the end but didn't cede an inch of our territory. So in Delhi, when politicians like Rahul Gandhi use the term surrender so casually and childishly, they possibly imply that our forces have surrendered to China, and there can be no greater disservice to the nation than to constantly push a narrative that suits the enemy. Is the Vadra Congress led by Rahul Gandhi trying to demoralize our forces by pushing the surrender narrative? Is Congress calling the supreme sacrifice of our soldiers surrender? After the violent face-off, India completed bridge construction in Galwan to send the Chinese a message. Are they calling this surrender?
हवा हवाई बातों पे ज़्यादा यकीन करते हैं और हवा हवाई बातों के आधार पर हंगामा करने की कोशिश करते हैं। ऐसी बात वही कर सकता है जिसको कि बिल्कुल अज्ञानता हो, जो जिसका दिमाग अज्ञानता से भरा हो और जो बिल्कुल ज़मीन की हकीकत को समझ ना पा रहा हो।
It's also surprising that a former Prime Minister under whose tenure national security was compromised on multiple fronts, be it with Pakistan or with China, is now lecturing Prime Minister Modi on national security. In a letter, he writes, and I quote, "The Prime Minister cannot allow Chinese to use his words as vindication. We remind the government that disinformation is no substitute for diplomacy." On Saturday, the Prime Minister's office called out the motivated propaganda by political parties on Prime Minister's remarks at the all-party meeting. It should have put an end to the politics, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
जो भाषा चीन बोल रहा है वो भाषा प्रधानमंत्री बोल रहे हैं, जो भाषा चीन बोल रहा है वो भाषा भारतीय जनता पार्टी बोल रही है, जो भाषा चीन बोल रहा है वही भाषा भाजपा के प्रवक्ता हर चैनल पे बोल रहे हैं।
20 soldiers have laid down their lives to protect the sovereignty and integrity of the nation. Parties whose leaders have been liking pro-PLA tweets and aiding Chinese psycho-ops should once again listen to an injured Jawan's father.
कि भारतीय सेना मजबूत सेना है, चीन को हरा सकती है और विदेशों को हरा सकती है। राहुल गांधी, आप नेतागिरी मत करना, ये राजनीति अच्छी नहीं है। हमारा थोड़ा पहले के फौज में शाह लड़ेगा, अभी फिर और लड़ेगा, शेर बनेगा। ठीक हो गए, भगवान चाहे ठीक हो जाए, फिर भी लड़ेगा।
Let's debate.
And on the debate this evening, viewers, the hashtag is India First. And if you believe that for the last 1 week there has been a group of people whose only objective is to seek political opportunity in this kind of a prevailing national security situation, if you disagree with these people, but more than that, if you feel they should be put in their place and they should get it back, then I'd love to hear from you using the hashtag India First. Viewers, at least 15 to 20 tweets I will read in the course of the debate. M.R. Venkatesh, Smita Prakash, General Bakshi, Professor D.K. Giri, Surendra Chauhan, Prem Shankar Jha, Manaswi Thapar, Anirban Banerjee, Gaurav Bhatia will be joining us soon. I'm opening the debate between General G.D. Bakshi and Prem Shankar Jha. Prem Shankar Jha, the use of the word surrender in an unthought, juvenile way must be countered. Now, my own view has been that the absence of intellectual depth in the 51-year-old man-child prohibits me from having any, from taking his views with any level of seriousness. My friend MR is smiling, he knows that. Nobody takes the 51-year-old man-child seriously because he's not evolved in the last 51 years. But that's not the point. The point is that it was a perspective which he put out. He also said, China killed our soldiers who went unarmed, and our unarmed soldiers were killed by the Chinese army. China took our land, and our army gave away our land, and our unarmed soldiers gave away our land to the heavily armed Chinese. Now today I got some news, Prem Shankar Jha, that the Chinese admitted that their colonel was killed. The second news I got is that there is a lot of anger in China on the social media, that 43 of our men were killed by the Indian army and you did not even honor them. And the news also came, GD Bakshi, that up to 15 soldiers now, through independent analysts, are now saying 15 Chinese soldiers had their necks broken brutally by the Indian army. Brutally. Their necks broken, GD Bakshi, by the Indian army. Why does Rahul Gandhi now not say, the Indian army killed Chinese soldiers? The Indian army killed the Chinese colonel. The Indian army killed about 43 Chinese troops, and there is anger all over China on how they have not even given the respect to their dead soldiers. Why does he not tweet that? Which means he is a Chinese cheerleader. Prem Shankar Jha, that which means that he is a Chinese cheerleader. Now we believe that he should now be quiet. The Congress should apologize for what it's been up to and let the people of this country who believe in India first take over. Prem Shankar Jha, please open the debate with your views on my opening remarks, and General Bakshi will debate with you. Please.
Thank you, Arnab. First, let me say that I think we should avoid name calling, whether it is, Rahul Gandhi as the man-child or Manmohan Singh as the pusillanimous. That doesn't help anybody. But having said that, let me get on to what you've just said. The use of the word surrender, is, apart from the fact that it's completely wrong, was extremely, it's something that it's designed to make people angry. And the last thing you want just now in the India-China relationship is hot anger in place of cool reason and rational thinking. There's a good reason why the Chinese did not make a huge song and dance about the 40-odd people they lost. And yes, it's true that they did. In fact, I read about it in the Chinese papers 4 days ago. But the reason is that the Chinese do not want this to get out of hand. Do you know that when the first news came out, it was that there were 780 million tweets on Weibo, of anger, most of them on anger, against India. 780 million. If the Chinese allowed themselves to be sort of sent into a battle, etc., even though it's a battle in their favor because of the terrain, by public opinion, then their whole entire sort of long game of trying to maintain a strong position and slowly become a dominant power, a hegemonic power, if not the only hegemonic power in the world, will be totally destroyed. And so that's why they're doing it. Now, I think we should be similarly very careful about the kind of language we use. I'm sorry that Rahul Gandhi has been somewhat intemperate on this. I think that Dr. Manmohan Singh saying one moment, but saying that he should have been mindful of his language is quite enough. And I would say, please, one last thing, General Bakshi, just one more word, if you don't mind. I think that it is terribly important now for us to remember that what Prime Minister Modi said was excellent. I want to make that point out, and I want to make it point again and again and again.
Yes, Prem Shankar Jha, you are very senior to me. We know each other for a long time, and you have had your own contribution in journalism. I will not question you. However, sir, may I say, as I wait for one visual to be picked up, if I can request our producers, there's one shot of Manmohan Singh when he meets the Chinese premier. He bows down in a manner which you and I can find the appropriate. This is not the one. There's another shot where he enters a room and then he bows down to the Chinese leader. As far as my description of the 51-year-old adolescent is concerned, sir, which you took exception to, may I have you on the screen, please? When I get that visual, I'll play it. May I tell you, there is absolutely nothing insulting in describing Rahul Gandhi as a man-child. As far as I know, and you are more versed with the English language than me, a man-child is a phrase used to refer to a person, who is an adult male, who still possesses considerable psychological traits of a child. Now, I think I'm being extremely forgiving. I'm not calling him a criminal, I'm only calling him a man-child. I should have called him a criminal because he's accusing my country of surrender. So I think I'm being very forgiving. Having said that, now we are in a situation, General Bakshi, where we look at it coolly. A, we've not lost any land. B, we've gone with our head held high in today's talks. Right. C, we now have proof from China that their colonel was killed, 15 men had their necks broken. There is anger across Chinese social media at why they were not given a decent send-off. And the real facts have emerged. So what happens to the group which made it out like we had had a huge defeat a week back? General Bakshi, that's the point maybe we want to buttress tonight.
Arnab, I would just like to very respectfully remind Mr. Prem Shankar Jha, whose erudition and scholarship I respect greatly, the simple fact that we did not start this. We did not start this, Mr. Jha. We did not start COVID for that matter, but we are suffering. Every year we have been exposed. Mr. Jha, I did not interrupt. Thank you. Every year we have been subjected to an annual tamasha, a jamboree on our borders. We have said time and again, please give us your perception of the line of actual control. Please exchange maps. 23 meetings have taken place, but the Chinese very deliberately do not want to settle it because they want to keep it as a pressure point against India to be exploited whenever they want to get aggressive. I thought with this COVID outbreak, this pandemic, all of us nations should have had our head down in trying to save our people. But the Chinese, Mr. Prem Shankar Jha, have been acting so truculent, so aggressive against Taiwan, against South China Sea, against East China Sea, and now they think that we are weakened because of COVID and we are not capable of a coherent response, so they are trying to humiliate us. Your options are that you tamely get humiliated because the entire responsibility of being reasonable the onus is on India. The entire responsibility of kowtowing every time is on India. I would like to know why. I mean, isn't it also equally the responsibility of the Chinese government not to have put 2 mechanized brigades against us and mobilized a full division, artillery, 200 tanks, got their air force up? For what reason? Why? Why this annual jamboree? That's what we are asking. Why can't it be settled once and for all?
Yeah.
Mr. Jha, we are also fed up. And we had this peace and tranquility accord. Article 6 of that accord of 1996 said no firearms will be used. So the Chinese have started using.
I say, yeah, look at now this picture. Yeah.
Mr. Jha, with barbed wire bound, nails.
Now let's take the debate forward, General Bakshi. Let's take the debate forward and look at that visual full frame, Prem Shankar Jha. You will understand why I use the word pusillanimous.
I mean, that's a small change.
No. No, let me tell you,
Is
Prem
that
Shankar
not
Jha.
change, Mr. Jha?
Yeah, okay, you are all on the
Arnab, I
screen.
want to ask him.
Yeah, ask him.
What
Ask-
about those families, Mr. Jha? What about those
about
families, Mr. Jha? And Mr. Jha, can I please, sir, with your permission, sir, can I
agree
recount
with
to
you.
you a
What about
ballad
the
of
family? I
bravery
feel extremely
which should
sorry
have
for
been
them.
resounding
Please,
all
please,
over
may-
this
may I
country?
answer?
The ballad
May I
of
answer?
bravery
You
of
asked a very
16
important-
Jail
Bihar.
Bakshi.
But those boys are being abused.
Look,
Calumny
they-
and
they-
slander is what they get.
But look.
Yeah, go on, Jail Bakshi. Continue, Jail Bakshi. Please go on.
Just one word.
No, he
One
wants
word
to.
only.
I feel terrible. I feel
Families.
terrible.
But look, what about
As a
the families of the
soldier,
Chinese?
as a
It's
soldier,
terrible
Mr.
thing.
Prem
It should
Shankar
never have
Jha,
happened.
I respect
What
you
about
as an
they have
intellectual.
families too. They're human beings also, as are ours. No
No,
one
so
should have
that's
died on
exactly
this.
what I'm
It was
saying.
a bad mistake started by the Chinese. I agree,
Sir,
but it was still a mistake.
So we are.
But who started
mistake.
it, Mr. Jha?
It's not a mistake by the
No,
Chinese,
are we
Prince, Mr.
responsible?
Jha. It's not
We
a
have to
mistake
blame
by the
for
Chinese.
everything?
It's a well-planned
India
strategy
just
by
said very
theirs. I
well.
open up the debate. Mr. Jha and
They
GD Bakshi have
came
opened the debate
prepared
well,
with those
viewers.
bats and
Keep
those
your tweets
wires.
coming. And I have one thing to say to you at this time. Prem Shankar Jha objected M.R. Venkatesh. Now let's go fast into the debate. He said, Arnab, why are you using the word pusillanimous vis-a-vis Manmohan Singh? Well, for many reasons. Because in an abject show of pusillanimity, he went to George W. Bush and he says, Mr. Bush, the people of India love you. And with the same show of pusillanimity, he completely bowed down to the Chinese leaders when he met him. Look at this visual, viewers. Who meets another head of government in the way that he did? Look at him. No self-respect. If there's one man who constantly compromised our self-respect, it was Manmohan Singh. Look at how he enters the room and look at how the Chinese leader stands straight while he bows down like. Is that the way, the servile manner you want an Indian head of government to conduct himself? Anyway, that's not the issue. I say let's hit it back. I say, Smita Prakash, the narrative is for us to set. And I can tell you one thing, you may not like it. You may not accept it, DK Giri. But right now, the Chinese are quivering in their boots. They are quivering in their boots because we have massive deployment across the border. They are quivering in their boots because our on-ground strength is much more than theirs. They are quivering in their groups, Smita Prakash, because we have said that the rules of engagement will change. They are quivering in their groups because we have massive missile deployment in that area like never before. But most importantly also, DK Giri, shout as much as you please.
Have the Chinese been pushed
Shout
back?
shout as much as you
Have the Chinese
please.
been pushed back?
But I can tell you
Tell
the
me
Chinese have sent emissaries
No,
all
I
over
am speaking
asking
as
why
very
for the
picture.
first time since
As an Indian,
2017.
As an Indian,
Why? Allow me, DK, to complete the sentence.
Been pushed back. Have we retrieved our territory?
Let me complete what I'm saying.
Please.
Let me complete what I'm saying, DK. We have deployed in a massive way.
Please do.
The Americans suddenly have moved 3 massive aircraft carriers in the last 72 hours into the South China Sea. And they are all part of their strike group 9. We don't even need to fight a battle. We can win this war without lifting a finger. The Chinese have panicked. The Chinese have been sending constant communications to all the Quad countries, including India. Why has the USS Roosevelt entered the South China Sea? Smita, you know the ramifications. The USS Nimitz has entered the South China Sea, and along with that, the USS Reagan has also entered the South China Sea for the last time in 3 years. The Chinese are in absolute panic. We have had strong communications with Australia, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, France, and the United Kingdom. The choke points of the Malacca Straits can be closed at any point of time. Right? And the Chinese have now started a new border dispute with Japan in the last 24 hours. The Chinese are absolutely all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. It is very unfortunate at this time when we are gaining the strategic edge, Smita, when we are gaining it, for these people to come and try and demoralize us. But I think the morale of the Indian Army and the forces, our leadership, has never been as high as it is now.
Very encouraging to hear you. But did the government not see it coming? Did the government not see it coming? It is General Bakshi sounds so esoteric every time he speaks.
What is
we
esoteric?
all know that China is a rogue country. China is a rogue country. We know that. Only government did not see it coming. They made a monkey out of our government. Why don't you see that? Our Prime Minister was trying to contain them, compromise with them, trying to charm his way to Xi Jinping. What is this? And now after 2.5 months, he speaks.
See,
and he
this is just it.
And says
This is
not a foreign single
this is
foreign
the
troop in our
narrative.
country. This is absolute weakness. He has
This is the narrative. This is the narrative that the Prime Minister has surrendered, that the Indian army has surrendered. This is the narrative that the left parties and some in the Twitter sphere and including Rahul Gandhi is talking about that the sir, can you just let me speak now?
Don't shout. Don't shout. Don't shout.
That is just what I'm doing.
Don't shout.
I am debating with you if you will let me get a word in.
DK, don't shout.
Yes, but you are
I am talking.
me.
Don't show your frustration.
Yes, okay, fine. This is what I'm trying to say. Oh my God.
Continue, Smita.
Yeah, see, when academicians and politicians, okay, fine, I'm not taking Mr. Gandhi's name. Listen to this. When politicians and academicians like you put on political blinders and have hateful vengeance to say things like Indian army has surrendered or India has surrendered in Ladakh, please note that the Indian army doesn't have the word surrender in its lexicon. This is something which has been done by Pakistani Twitter handles which have been rented out by the Chinese, and they were Pakistani Twitter handles which were rented out by the Chinese because Chinese Twitter handles had been suspended. They are the ones who put out the word surrender, and then that was picked up by the political landscape, which includes Rahul Gandhi. If you don't like his name being mentioned, too bad, sir, but it was picked up by him and his advisors, which include failed documentary makers. In fact, Rahul Gandhi, all he needed was that there are two defense ministers who are from the Congress party. All he needed was to ask Mr. Antony or Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, where is Galwan? What do Indian soldiers carry when they go to the border? Do they have firearms or not? Before tweeting like a juvenile. What he did was absolutely ridiculous in saying that we have surrendered. Does he even know that when operations are all detailed?
I never said Indian army surrender. Take it back.
But the man-child said.
Does he not know this? Does he not know when IDF operations were going on? Rajiv Gandhi never did that.
Okay, one of the news events of the day today was, and I'd like to get Gaurav Arya with Surendra Chauhan on the debate. Gaurav Bhatia. There is so much of Gaurav Arya these days on the debate.
It's about to me.
Yes.
Being compared to an army veteran.
Well, thank you. I want to debate on fact. I think we got off to a smooth start. We got off to a smooth start on the debate with Prem Shankar Jha and GD Bakshi, and here we are up to our usual antics again. Can I please request you to focus on the facts at hand? You see, the question here is Gaurav Bhatia, if I may, and Surendra Chauhan. I have, the thing is, I'm not going personal on Manmohan Singh, though I believe these pusillanimous, and I think he was a man who only compromised, and he was responsible for the greatest scams, and he earned his position as Prime Minister simply by allowing others to do as they please when he says the compulsions of coalition politics. But I won't want to go into a personal diatribe on him. My question at this point of time is, Manmohan Singh said the following words today, viewers. He says, the Prime Minister of India cannot allow them to use his words as a vindication of their position. And Prime Minister Modi, this is the advice given by Manmohan Singh, must always be mindful of the implication of his words and declarations on our nation's security. These are the words which Manmohan Singh used. Now, first, I want three pieces of evidence to prove that Manmohan Singh has no right to say this. May I please, Surendra Chauhan? Example number one. Manmohan Singh enters a room. He's so overawed in the presence of Hu Jintao that he does a complete Sashtanga Pranam to him. He bows down before him. Viewers, the first piece of evidence, this man, Manmohan Singh, should never give advice on how to conduct yourself in global affairs. Have a look at this. One last time. Can we play that once again, viewers? One last time. There you are.
Do you mean to
That's
say
the
that
one,
was he a failure?
Example. Yes,
in
he
the
was a
global,
failure. He was a failure.
relationship?
Yes, he was a failure. It is my considered
No, he
view that
was
he
not.
was a failure.
He was not.
The second point, evidence to
He
you,
was
and then
not.
you will debate. I'll back off. The second point I'm saying is that when the PLA platoon set up camp 30 kilometers south of Daulat Beg Oldie, this is 2013, Manmohan Singh said, no big deal. He gave the meekest response. He said, localized problem. Did he put up the missiles? Did he send the corps commanders to talk? Did he deploy the army? Did he use his naval strength to intimidate back?
Then and that
Did
time?
he?
Arnab.
No, to the contrary, I will tell you last point and then I'll be quiet for the rest of the debate
No
if necessary.
casualty
He
on
said
that time.
under his
No
time,
Indian soldier was
under his time, he had an external affairs minister called Salman Khurshid.
It is
Salman
the first
Khurshid
time
wanted to
on
wish away the
India-China
Chinese by
border
saying,
in last
and these are the
5
exact
years,
words of
we
Salman
have
Khurshid.
lost
And
20
Salman Khurshid said,
20
quote, the
precious
response
lives
should
have
not
been
be
lost.
seen as timid or robust or whether it is proportional. This incursion is
precious
adverse to our
lives have been
interests.
lost.
The fact that they
And that
happen to
too
be
on
where
Indian
they don't
soil.
want to, we don't want them to be is established. We don't wish them to be there. All that Salman Khurshid said, we don't
Arnab, now
wish
can I
the
come in
Chinese
and
to be there. But they did nothing.
Friend, Mr. Chaudhary will listen to me, I hope. Can I come in first?
Which one of you will debate first?
Sir, go ahead.
Mr. Chaudhary, may I make my opening comment? So that I'm not interrupted in between. I'm asking.
Come on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So-
Gaurav, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. Arnab, it is very unfortunate that we have an Indian citizen like Mr. Raul Vinci, who in the past few days has tweeted this. I would be
Rahul
expecting
Gandhi,
a Chinese
please
to be
pronounce it
tweeting this.
rightly.
He's saying don't call him
Yes.
Raul Vinci.
Okay, I will. Raul Vinci, and I can even
Rahul
call him a
Gandhi.
traitor. Okay, I give you an option. Option A, traitor Rahul Gandhi, or termite Rahul Gandhi, option B. Whichever one you want to choose. And I'll tell you, Mr. Chaudhary,
You
why
please talk
I respect
sense,
you.
talk sense.
Why I respect you
Being a
over
lawyer,
Mr.
you
Rahul
talk
Gandhi.
sense.
Listen to me. It's my right to express. You cannot take it away. Your turn will come. You can speak then. So
No,
first
I'm
of
not
all,
taking,
Rahul
but
Gandhi
talk
says.
sense. That too on a national
Please,
television.
yes. Let the viewers decide that. Let the viewers decide that. We still live in a democracy. It's not the Chinese. It's India.
Yes.
So, first
So
Rahul
he's a
Gandhi, Arnab says, Zameen
parliamentarian.
Hada, please.
You are
अच्छा चौधरी जी अच्छा नहीं आप पहले बोलना चाहते हैं प्लीज यू कैन गो फर्स्ट
Manasvi is also
this line
objecting.
my line है heckling is not good please
Manasvi is
It doesn't
objecting.
help
Anirban is
anybody.
objecting. Let him continue.
Let them object. Rahul Gandhi says Zameen Hadapli. So on Republic I say, Rahul Gandhi, do you have the gumption and the
Congress? Our opposition should not be the opposition
member
party.
of Colonel Santosh Babu?
Our
and then
opposition
say कि हमारी-
Gaurav Bhatia.
is China. We
please,
have to
yeah.
oppose China.
Arre,
and
can
not
you-
Congress.
can you be quiet?
Why is this debate
Yeah,
counter? Congress?
Manasvi,
Is this
if you
a-
want to be mannerless, I know how to teach a lesson, but I think I can make a request to you. Extend the civility to me. This is my first comment. I don't know why you have to interrupt me.
Sir,
you have no
sir,
problems.
you can be the
Please,
professor.
Manasvi.
You can be
I
the
think
professor,
it is
but
important.
can we have
you want to
have a
speak
debate
first, you speak first.
on the
I will
topic?
speak in my manner. I will use the words that I think are appropriate for Rahul Gandhi.
Sir.
And I will give reasons. And then you can come and you can make your
Continue,
point.
continue,
I think
sir.
that is the
Continue,
way
sir.
to. Please,
Professor
thank you.
Saab, you can continue. You can teach. You
No,
can teach
please.
the debating culture
Okay.
by changing the topic. You
Thank
can
you.
continue that.
Okay. So my first point is that Zameen Hadapli. When Narendra Modi ji says एक इंच जमीन हमारी सुरक्षित है हमारी वीर सेना डिफेंड कर रही है तो जमीन कैसे हड़प ली है बताए राहुल गांधी सेकंड he says Surinder Modi or surrender Modi. Mr. Rahul Gandhi,
बता दूंगा आपको,
do you
आपको
even
जवाब मैं
understand
दूंगा, आप question
if the
पूछिए।
Prime Minister of the country surrenders, what it means? Till our last breath, every Indian will defend India in the best capacity that he can. So, I ask you, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, is the MOU that you signed, and I have a picture, please show this picture. This reveals a lot. Are you being
Hold
very
it up.
faithful to China while acting like a termite with India? You have responsibilities towards India also, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Is the bond that you share through this MOU with China stronger than your love for the country? Please tell us. My next point, Manmohan Singh ji, we all respect you. But today, Manmohan Singh ji's position is like the Bhij Pitama. He knows the Duryodhan. He knows the Duryodhan in the Congress party, but he doesn't have the courage to be on the right side. Mr. Manmohan Singh ji, the ordinance that you approved as the Prime Minister was torn by Rahul Gandhi, who was not even a minister in your cabinet. Let me also, please, Manasvi, please don't do this. You were never like this. Why are you heckling? Your turn will come. Let me play some facts. Under your regime, Mr. Manmohan Singh, 2008, Chumur area, 250 kilometers of length land was taken over by China. 2009, Doom Cheli area. How did the Chinese came inside the Indian territory? 2012, Demchok. China constructed 13 cemented houses there. Mr. Manmohan Singh, can you please tell the nation, when we have a strong Prime Minister, why are you trying to be China's best friend? An all-party meeting took place. Manmohan Singh ji, you could have given your suggestions. You could have given your suggestions in the all-party meeting through Sonia Gandhi, but you did not. That is why we doubt the integrity of Congress party.
Now there's one Anirban, one small point, right? We have differences. We will continue to have differences. I want you on the debate with M.R. Venkatesh. Anirban and M.R. Venkatesh. Manasvi, I'll come to you in a minute. We'll have everyone on, don't worry. I am really proud, M.R., that our government has said, change the rules of engagement. Give complete freedom of action to our forces at the LAC. Across the Chinese media, if you follow, they are totally rattled. They don't know what to do. The military gap along the LAC has been closed. Now you have all the analysts sitting in American universities and Harvard, and everyone is saying India has a solid military upper hand across the LAC. You know how major that is? And along with that, MR, you are the chartered accountant here, so you'll know. We are reviewing our trade agreements with South Asia countries, including under the South Asia Free Trade Area, ASEAN Group, bilaterals, plugging all gaps that aid Chinese imports. So what's happening in my view is, the Chinese have called up the Vadra Congress and said, hey, little stooges of ours, why don't you get going? They've told their stooges in the Vadra Congress to get going, and the Vadra Congress is trying to do its own little childish juvenile number. Now, that's just a supposition of mine. But we can't discount it, can we, MR? MR, your point first, and then Anirban can respond.
Arnab, you should also understand what Mr. Bhatia showed us a picture. Was a 2008
yeah, we have a full debate on it.
You are having a debate, and I think Bhatia's party is well advised to ensure the NIA is set on this entire agreement. NIA must look into this agreement. Why do I say this? This whole Congress party since 2005, and I don't know when Mr. Sambit Patra used the term Chinese Gandhis. They were not Chinese Gandhis, they are real Chinese Gandhis. They actually batted for the Chinese. They ensured that the Chinese got an upper hand in trade, in military affairs, in foreign affairs, and this has been the DNA of the Congress party right from Nehru. Right from Nehru, it was the DNA to cede territory. Anirban, listen. Have the temerity to listen. Please listen.
Every time this failure comes up, all you have got is blame everything on Congress, blame everything on the Gandhi family, blame everything on Nehru. This is utter sham on your part. The Prime Minister of our country gave out a statement that the Chinese army encroached on nothing. So where did the fight take place?
They encroached and were pushed back. Do you understand English or Hindi or any language? They encroached and were pushed back. Do you understand that? MR explained to him they encroached and they were pushed back.
Did the fight take place? Mr. Modi has been an utter diplomatic and political failure. He has turned each and every one of our neighbors into our enemies. He does not know how to handle diplomacy with small countries like Nepal.
MR,
Mr. Bhatia, Mr. Bhatia must answer when and how an NIA is going to visit the Congress party and take over the agreement and find out how many compromises Manmohan Singh, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi have done on this country. The time for putting these family band bars has come. We are not going to tolerate this nonsense, and now is the time that this family has to firmly be put into place. This family has compromised this country for too long, and this Congress party is nothing but a stooge of the Chinese Communist Party.
Arnab,
This Congress party,
for his own political gains, you should be ashamed of your position. Emar, you should be ashamed for your position that you are defending a man who does not know how to secure the lives of our soldiers.
MR is on, viewers.
don't try to say all
MR
these
is
things. You are
MR is
right.
on, viewers. MR is on, viewers. MR is on, viewers, and now we will have a clear debate on the issue of Manmohan Singh. I invite back into the debate Smita Prakash.
This time has come.
Smita Prakash, I invite her into the debate with Manaswi. 1 minute, please. Manaswi and Smita Prakash. I need 30 seconds to intervene, then the debate is between both of you. As you know, nowadays I'm hosting some of the most orderly debates in the world. Question number 1. How did Manmohan Singh handle China? 1. 600 incursion attempts in 3 years. 140 incursions, Smita, attempts in 1 year. At the time that he was bowing down to Hu Jintao, 140 incursions in 1 year. He was bowing down to Hu Jintao. Manmohan Singh, Manaswi, kept quiet on 19-kilometer incursion into India in the Dipsang area of eastern Ladakh. The Chinese came, they put up tents. Manmohan Singh did absolutely nothing. He did not raise objection to Chinese presence in Gilgit, Baltistan and POK, which we consider part of our territory. 10 years as Prime Minister, Smita, did he speak once on it? Absolutely not. So question is, Manasvi, you can start first. Question is, I'll tell you one more thing. He just went absent. Smita, you were a journalist. No, Smita, you know, you were handling ANI then also. 2013, when the armed forces wanted a brief from the army, Manmohan Singh went virtually absent during the 2013 episode. He played down the incursions in 2009. He attacked the media, called it media hype. He shifted the onus on faulty government information system. His failed policy resulted in lost territory, right? And the defense minister at that point of time, A.K. Antony, shrugged and he said, the Chinese infrastructure is better. He said, and I quote Antony, if you're here, listen to me. He said, I have no hesitation in admitting the reality. China is much more advanced in the area of building infrastructure in comparison to India. Their infrastructure development is superior to India. That is also a history. They just said this. Now, how can the same man lecture us? Now, please answer the question, Manasvi.
Can you give me some time to make my point?
Yeah, but no, your point, answer the question, not a point. I want an answer, not a point.
I'll do that.
He called, you want me to expose Manmohan Singh more?
Okay, I'll answer it the way the opposition in 2013, 12 or 14 have answered. I'll answer it that way. I'll just quote, China withdraws its forces, but I wonder why Indian forces are withdrawing from Indian territory. Why did we retreat? The Chief Minister of Gujarat, May 13, 2013. From China's intrusion to Pakistan,
precisely, and the Chief Minister of Gujarat, then who's the Prime Minister of India now, is ensuring that we don't retreat and we head back. So what's your question? What's your question? You're contradicting yourself.
That was the dharam of opposition to ask relevant questions. And then let me just tell you.
The dharam of the government is to not allow the incursions. The incursions were allowed then and they're not being allowed now. They're being pushed back. Smita.
No one was allowing incursions. Now when the incursion is happening, the opposition is questioning, but the government is not answering. They are questioning the opposition's conduct in the past. That is not the rule.
I'll tell you one thing.
That is not how the democracy would function.
No. Smita will come in.
May I ask?
Let's have a healthy debate. Why can't we have an inclusive understanding?
1 minute. Can I just give one example and then I'll be quiet in the rest of the debate. 2013, a person with a self-professed beautiful face called Salman Khurshid says, and these MEA reporters just nod down notes, they don't ask any questions, the MEA reporters have no spine. He said, he called the Chinese incursion in the Depsang Valley of Ladakh as acne. He said, one little spot is acne, which cannot force you to say that this is not a beautiful face. That acne can be addressed by simply applying an ointment. Do you know what that means? You had the then Foreign Minister of India, Smita, describing a Chinese incursion as acne. Where is Salman Khurshid now? Will he deny making that comment? Do you think we'll forgive it?
Comment.
Yes, please, Smita.
Arnab ji, right now,
I don't want to be called Arnab ji. You please reply to Smita.
It was a bizarre comment then. As Manasvi, you had your turn. Can I please? You've had your turn, Manasvi. This is now my turn. If you may please be orderly now.
Yes, Smita ji.
Look, at that time when Salman Khurshid said what he did, it was a bizarre thing. Similarly, what has been said today, instead of saying Narendra Modi, what they are saying today, that is equally bizarre. You were talking about Dr. Manmohan Singh. See, if I may just recount an incident, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was headed to the US, at that time the left party said that you have surrendered India's interest, you have sold India's interest. To which Dr. Manmohan Singh said, I am Prime Minister of this country, I cannot sell out India's interests. That goes for not just for him, it goes for Prime Minister Modi too. 13 Prime Ministers before him have not sold out India, and he as the 14th Prime Minister will not sell out India, will not surrender a single inch of India's territory. And when I mean a Prime Minister, I mean the country, the army of this country, the Air Force, the Navy will not allow the sovereignty, the borders will be affected. 1 minute, sir, let me just complete that. Don't forget that in 1962, when Assam was almost given away, the Chinese had captured Bomdila. At that time, the Prime Minister said, my heart bleeds, goes away for the people of Assam. But did we give up Assam? We did not. We have our forces. Also remember that there was a blueprint made to give up Siachen as a confidence building measure to Pakistan. Did that happen? It didn't happen. Just remember, have faith in your army and do not, when operations are on, to turn around and criticize and say that we are surrendering is an insult to our forces who have laid down their lives. Those who have fought with bare hands and inflicted double the amount of casualties than what has happened to us. Do not insult our army by saying that we have surrendered on our borders.
Nobody is insulting the army.
I, however, have a small difference of opinion with you, Smita, if I may. You say no Prime Minister can compromise national security.
Absolutely, I have a big one.
I wish to disagree with you. I wish to disagree with you. Manmohan Singh compromised national security. 232 days after 26/11, he signed the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement in Egypt with the Pakistani president, Prime Minister Syed Yusuf Raza Gilani, and I can never forgive him for what he did then. So I completely feel that if there's one man who openly compromised national security, it is Manmohan Singh. Now reactions. At Vishal Mama says, for our army, India first, for the opposition, China first. Srini_Reddy says they are insulting the supreme sacrifice of our martyred soldiers. Vijay Nakshani says, how long will this ludicrous politics over LSE face-off go on? Mohit Ram Barga says, India never surrendered, but India made its enemies surrender multiple times. Chirag 99 Artani says our army is now fully free to take any action. So there's a strong positive sentiment in this country building up. Surendra Chauhan, understand the sentiment. Tell Gaurav Arya today that the politics will end, should end. Tell him today. Tell him. Tell Gaurav Bhatia.
Gaurav Arya is not there.
Bhatia.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's an honor, as I said earlier. Okay.
No,
Mr. Chaudhary would like to go first and then I'll come. No, as long as it's not Gandhi or Vinci, I'm fine.
Now, Arnab Goswami,
as long as it is not Gandhi or Vinci, I'm fine.
Nobody is underestimating Indian army. Nobody is raising any issue
so
against
then,
the
Indian army. Mr. Chaudhary, can I ask you something?
Nobody has any.
Mr. Chaudhary, can I ask you something with your permission?
Yes, go ahead.
I want to ask you. Can I
Now
ask you
don't
something,
change my
Mr. Chauhan?
surname. This is Chauhan.
Yes, sorry, Mr. Chauhan, can I ask you something? If you allow me to. I'll only take 15 seconds.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chauhan.
Go ahead.
When Rahul Gandhi says to the PM of the country कि हमने surrender कर दिया है, तुम कहाँ छुपे हो, डरो मत, निकल आओ बाहर.
Shame.
Do you think it is appropriate? I am asking you. I want to know your views only on this. Is this the right way to address the Prime Minister of the country?
Now only on this.
Yes.
Only on this. Let us read his tweet. Let us read his
I have
tweet.
the tweet.
No, there's nothing to read. The point is made. Run short of time.
No.
Viewers.
So read it
Yes,
first.
I am reading. Yes. PM has surrendered Indian territory to Chinese aggression. If the land was Chinese, why were our soldiers killed?
And he's raising a question. Two questions.
This is not a question. PM has surrendered Indian
Where
territory
did
to
this
Chinese
combat
aggression.
fight took place?
It's not a question, it's a statement. It's a statement, it's an assertion, it's a pro-China position, ladies and gentlemen. It's completely unacceptable either today or any time in the future. Now, I believe we have the upper hand, and I also believe, like I said at the start of the Sunday debate yesterday, let's not do anything knee-jerk. There will be provocation. Our government must respond, but at a time, place, opportunity of our own choosing. On the other side, debate number 2 on whether Sonia Gandhi and Tonia Maino will make a deal with Xi Jinping public, whether we have a right to know or not, in a few minutes.